Welcome to another episode of Wednesday Toast. My name is Lex, and I am back to intro another episode. Obviously, I'm here by myself. I'm not with Simon. That would be weird. On this week's episode, we are talking about, there's this picture I saw online that it was like a 4-frame photo, and it had a picture of Marvel, DC, anime, and I think just cartoons in general. And it got me thinking. I wanted to know what Pat and Simon thought. But that full episode that was live had so much more. We talked about some meme reactions that I got over the past week. We talked about Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and the controversy that hit right before that episode came out. That first episode came out. And you can only see that if you come to the live show. Now, at first we were talking about just leaving the live show up, but then, people are going to be missing out, right? We want you to show up to the live show. We want you to subscribe. So every Wednesday around 8 p.m. CST, we'll be live. Once that's gone, the full episode will be locked forever. We might throw it on Patreon for Patreon subscribers. Yeah, I think we will actually do that. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. You will get so much more content. I think the episode was a little over 2 hours, honestly. So it was a lot of fun. I'm excited to do it again. Actually, tonight's night we're recording. So I'm excited to talk to Simon again. And hopefully I'm close to figuring out my editing process. So bear with me. We're happy to be back. And let's get to the episode.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
And all right, so the topic of the episode, after an hour of doing it, not gonna be very long. But I saw this post online. Welcome to the show. I saw this post online. If you're just tuning in, I saw this post online. You get these infographic things that people make all the time, silly engagement bait posts that I fall for all the time. One was like, it was a 4-picture post. And it was like the face of Marvel, the face of DC, the face of anime, and the face of like cartoons, like Western cartoons, I would imagine, like Cartoon Network. Type thing, right? And I said, man, that's a really good topic, especially for Pat here, because Pat has a general idea of these 4 genres, right? And I know the top 2 are a singular genre, but these 4 different categories. And so I figured we would talk about what ours would be. And I'll tell you what this person said. And they may have, sometimes they put something outlandish in these to get like an engagement from people, like, whoa, how could you do that? I get it. But this person's was the face of Marvel was Spider-Man. They put the face of DC was Batman. They put the face of anime was, I can't remember who they said. It wasn't Goku. It wasn't. I thought it was, but it wasn't. It wasn't Goku. It was probably like Ash Ketchum, which is fine, right? It's fine. And then the face of cartoons was Ben 10.
Really? Whose generation is this now?
I don't know. So
that's every generation.
So I thought it would be interesting to see.
Not Ninja Turtle or anything like that. No, anything like that.
I thought it'd be interesting to see who we would all say.
Okay. I know. Shut up.
I know. I put you guys on the spot with this. I didn't give you guys any prep, but I think it's better off the cuff thinking about it.
Yeah.
I will go first to give you guys a little bit of time to think
about all each.
Just give our grid. So I'll go first. And I'll explain, so it gives you guys a little bit of time. But you guys don't have to. I don't want to influence you guys at all, right? Okay. Whatever. Marvel, I'm going Spider-Man, right? I mean, I think in my head it is Spider-Man. I've been a long-time Spider-Man fan, even though it's comic books, it's peaks and valleys, right? There's some good, there's some bad. But I watch this weird thing that I do on YouTube is I see these old ads for Marvel, right?
This weird thing I do on YouTube. I just masturbate.
Yeah.
Like
I just see like, hey, Spider-Man twerking videos. I just like,
It's like, oh, here we go.
but I watch these old ads for Marvel, and they would do these news like series of Spider-Man. Spider-Man got married. There was like a whatever at the time. The morning show did a whole thing on like interviewing a fake Spider-Man and Mary Jane. Like, hey, Spider-Man, how's it feel to get married? And like this whole Spider-Man to me is the face of Marvel.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean he's my favorite character. I love him, but it doesn't mean he's my favorite character. But I think he's the face of Marvel. For DC, Batman's cool. Everybody knows Batman's cool. He's fine. But I think it's Superman.
Yeah.
See that, man.
I think it's Superman. When I think about any superhero, you boil it down to Superman. He's like all of the superheroes, right? Combined. And so I think about Superman. When I think about anime, I think Ash Ketchum is a good one because it almost doesn't feel like anime when you're watching like a Pokemon because it's so mainstream.
A Pokemon, yeah.
Yeah, when you're watching a Pokemon,
When you're watching a Pokemon,
you're watching one of those Pokemans. When you're watching Pokemans, it's almost like it's not anime. It's like, oh, that's on the WB Kids. That's not going to be on Crunchyroll. That's going to be on WB Kids, right? And, and I'm dating myself by saying some people are like, "What the fuck is WB Kids?"
What is Kids WB?
Kids WB.
Next to QB.
Yeah, Kids WB. They played that 1, 2, 3, 4. I remember that week.
Mambo Number 5 is a good song. All right. Anybody that says
they did like a tour of the Kids WB set,
yeah,
playing that.
We got a little bit of action. Yeah.
And they had like the Lunatics. Do you remember that cartoon? It was like the intense future version of the Looney Tunes.
You know what?
Yeah, yes.
Lunatics, and they were like on the WB set, and people were like, "Who the hell are those guys?" And so I gotta go with Dragon Ball Z though. It's gotta be Goku. I mean,
yeah.
It's like it's the anime character when that people that don't watch anime, when you say, "Hey, can you name an anime character?" They say Goku.
He was on t-shirts.
I was watching Goku. I was watching Dragon Ball Z on a channel called UPN. It was channel 7. It first aired on that for me.
Was it 7 or 27?
It was 7 in Wichita Falls.
Yeah, racist people would call that the Black Network.
It was. It was. And Living Color played on UPN. And Mark.
Yeah, Moesha was on there too.
Yeah. And Dragon Ball Z. That's why black kids like Dragon Ball Z so much.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Speaking from experience. So I watched that on UPN when I was a kid, and I was just like, "What is this? This is the coolest thing ever."
Yeah,
Cartoons are badass. They're not just like hitting each other on heads with mallets.
Yeah, it's just a flash, and then like that's Western cartoons. A flash, and then somebody falls down.
Yeah, their eyes pop out of their heads, their tongue rolls out of their mouth, and that's it. Next thing, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
How long does he scream before he takes this shit?
I was like, "These kids." Oh, I got introduced to the cliffhanger in Dragon Ball Z. That was my first introduction of the big cliffhanger. Next on, and that was it.
Yeah. The worst one is the Frieza saga, bro, back in the day. Because I think they stopped when Goku finally arrives. But
I remember it
versus Chase and the other guy.
I remember it came on roughly around 3:34.
School
when I was
I had to run home from football practice.
And I'll never forget. And I have a lot of memories of Dragon Ball Z growing up, but I'll never forget. I had to go to my grandparents' house after school because my parents were at work. I'll never forget running home, busting through a grandparents' door, going to my grandparents' room because no one else was in there, turning on Cartoon Network, and just getting there in time for Trunks to flip his hair and chop all those dudes in half. I was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
That's when it was on the cable.
To this day, it is still the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
All right, kids, just to give you a little history with cables. Excuse me.
Let me tell you what cable.
The mutant cable from X-Men. But anyways,
back in the day, you had to plug multiple cables up to your TV.
You had to do that. It was on channel A or channel B. Back in the day, you had to do the switch.
Channel B.
Now they're called input.
Yeah, dude, that was absolutely insane back in the day. Anyways, back to what you were saying.
God, you sound old, dude.
It was on Cartoon Network. Yeah, but I think what Pat's saying is that there wasn't streaming back then.
No.
So you like had to catch it.
Yeah.
When it came on. Yeah, when it came on. Like at its scheduled time. There was and this is like all the kids were like, all right, change it. Let's change this YouTube channel to Mr. Beast. But there was a specific channel that would like roll the schedule. I'm like, what's coming out? Yeah, you had to watch it then. And,
what's on right now?
If you missed it, you were the loser the next day at school. Yeah, streaming came out and changed the game. I tried to explain to my son. He was like, that sounds like something for poor people. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, well, I was that.
I'm gonna give a shout out to my my childhood friend for letting me run with him to the house and watch it because he didn't live too far away from the middle school we went to in Dallas.
He was like, hey, you can watch it from my window.
Yeah, I was him and his grandparents.
My parents said nobody can come inside. You can watch it with the whisk.
Because I would never make it home in time. I would never make it home in time to watch it.
I couldn't imagine. Like I lived in a small town, and it just wasn't that right. I couldn't imagine going to school in Dallas or something like that.
No, me neither. Like I walked.
You gotta ride the train to get home, or like
I walked home and it was a block away.
Yeah, I ran home. I can't run anywhere.
Man, you cannot do that, man.
Then or now.
Yeah, you saw me run upstairs. I was winded. I can't run anywhere. I would run home back then.
Yeah, for me though, I would say for.
All right, yeah. Oh, hold on.
All right,
Cartoon Network. All right, I got cards or not. It's not Cartoon Network. Sorry, but cartoons in general.
Yeah, Western cartoons.
But it is Cartoon Network. For me, it's Dexter's Lab. That changed the game for me. I love Looney Tunes. I love classic Tom and Jerry. I love all of those. I really do. It even made me more now than I did back then. But Dexter's Lab to me was something that I was like, when I was watching it as a kid, I was like, this is the greatest cartoon I've ever seen in my life. It has everything.
It was good.
And so that's my 4. Spider-Man, Superman, Goku, Dexter. Very basic, but true. You know, it's true to me.
Okay. That's what
I'm not gonna be a hipster.
All right.
What do you got, Pat?
All right. So I'm gonna go a different way with this because I was a big fan of X-Men when I was growing up.
I had a feeling
the face of Marvel, I would say at that time was Wolverine.
I had a feeling someone was gonna go. Hey, Bob.
An iconic character back in the day for sure.
90s, yeah, very 90s.
Very 90s. The coolest dude out there. He wasn't taking.
He smoked cigars and rode motorcycles.
Not only that, he was smoking cigars on the claws, man.
He had a Jeep Wrangler.
Yeah, he was living it. No, you can't tell this man what to do for nothing.
He wore a yellow flannel shirt. No one said anything to him.
Hey, you kind of look like ketchup and mustard.
Yeah, you kind of look stupid.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Bob?
What'd you say, Bob?
You don't want to try him, you know,
because
you try him. You'll find out.
He was definitely just like
you'll find out.
Always pissed off dude. I always wondered when I was a kid, like, why is he so angry?
Because
he's short.
He had a spike in his butthole.
I learned as I got older because he's short.
He's always healing, bro.
It's because he's got short man syndrome.
He's always healing.
Shout out to my short kings.
Healing.
We're all tall, so if you're short, sorry.
Yeah.
So for DC, I changed this up because you already said Superman. Superman definitely was the face pretty much for DC. And the animated series was pretty good too. I actually
it's underrated, man. It's so underrated. I thought it was so good.
Him and the Batman too.
But, of course, Batman. But Batman's everybody's like.
I'm gonna go a different version of Batman. I'm gonna go Batman Beyond. I'm gonna go with Batman Beyond on that one.
You know, Batman Beyond is basically Spider-Man, but I do like it.
Okay. And then for anime, I was gonna say Goku.
Okay.
I was gonna second Ghost in the Machine.
Oh.
But now I think
I remember watching Ghost in the Machine as a kid and being like, this makes me uncomfortable.
I'm gonna leave one of these other anime.
Ghost in the Shell.
What the hell are y'all talking about? Jeez.
Ghost in the Shell?
Ghost in the Shell. What's Ghost in the Machine?
Deus Ex Machina is Ghost in the Machine.
Gotcha.
That's what that means.
I'm so sorry. I got that all. I got my animes all mixed up now.
We're American, man.
America.
We don't speak Japanese, Latin.
But
there's actually multiple episodes where I try to say Deus Ex Machina, And Simon has to correct me.
You know what? That's what we got.
I could probably cut like a 3-minute video of me trying to say it and Simon corrected me.
I know it. I know it because of Big Guy and Rusty the Boy Robot, that cartoon, because the main bad guys were Deus Ex Machina, and so I just heard it constantly.
There's like, I swear, I just from editing the show, there's multiple times where I try to say it and Simon's just like, fuck, man.
those.
But Goku was definitely someone my childhood that I definitely remember seeing quite a bit.
I mean, that's one of our
it is definitely
friendship connections.
It is definitely had an impact on my life.
Sure. I had one of those silk shirts with Goku on it.
I want one so bad, man.
I wish I still had it.
Oh my god, I want like with the like electricity in the back, like blue silk shirt. I want one right now so bad.
Yeah,
I really do. I mean, I know
thought it was the coolest shit ever, dude.
As far as cartoons go, Animaniacs,
solid pick.
Yeah.
As a kid, that show got on my nerves.
You know what? I don't think that show was meant for children.
Definitely wasn't.
Yeah,
it was hitting that era where like adults were making cartoons like for themselves. It was like so I feel like way back in the day, they were making cartoons for kids, and then those kids grew up and they were like, we want to make cartoons too, but we're adults that like cartoons. Yeah. And so they started slipping their own stuff into it. And then you get weird stuff like Ren and Stimpy. It was like, that is clearly not for kids. Even my parents would let me watch that.
Well, that guy's like real racist and crazy.
South Park and everything else. Couldn't even watch that.
I could watch South Park until my parents until they saw it and they're like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah, it was way too much.
My dad he told me that he would rather me watch South Park than wrestling, because wrestling was for stupid people.
That's great.
Anytime I tried to watch it, because my friends watched it in junior high.
I love wrestling, so yeah,
I'd turn it on and he'd be like, "This shit is for dumb people."
That checks out. I was a huge Simpsons was like the line that I put.
Oh, you know what?
I told that
one. But I have a feeling
that was my other pick.
Yeah, I toed the line on that one.
Simpsons was because it came on at like 9, and my parents were like,
"You're right.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep, man." And I'm like,
that and Futurama.
The Simpsons.
Futurama. I don't know. It's been canceled too many times.
I love original Futurama. I haven't watched enough of the new Futurama to even
the last couple seasons.
But like Storms McKenzie.
Yeah, I'm
so
tired.
So tired of party.
I remember when I watched the first episode of Futurama where
I still watch it on New Year's Day, dude.
Icy
Wiener.
Oh my god! I remember when I first watched it, I was like, "Yeah, this show's gonna be good."
Yeah,
and
it's the continuity that they have. They do so well in the first few seasons.
Or that episode with the dog.
Oh yeah,
saddest fucking episode that ever existed.
They got real good tear jerkers, like especially the one about Fry's brother.
Oh yeah, his brother was went to space.
It's more so his nephew. You got his name.
Yeah,
that's a good show. Okay,
or the one with the hollow phoner. You know, when he can't play it, when he gives the devil's hands back.
That's actually one of those episodes where they thought they were going to be canceled and not be able to return. So those two jerkers were definitely like heavy for a reason.
You see that episode where the devil robot stabs himself? He's like, "Oh, that's what I've been doing to people."
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh my god. That's a good one. Tom, you're up. Tom's gonna have the best list.
Nah. Marvel. It depends on the time. So Spider-Man is like the over encompassing, right? A lot of people would want to say Captain America, I think, just for the symbolism. But I think if you're talking about just what like really brought Marvel to the into the zeitgeist of popular culture, I would say Iron Man.
Yeah.
Iron Man is always, I mean, I've always loved him just because I liked mech stuff, which that came from anime shit. But like I discovered anime before I started reading comic books. But yeah, Iron Man for sure would be my pick on that.
Yeah, we talked about that recently. Like a common rhetoric online is like Iron Man, Marvel did all of this MCU stuff with the C-list character Iron Man, and I would get hate from saying like Iron Man's a C-list character. I loved Iron Man. I was a huge Iron Man fan in the 90s.
I feel like that's a ridiculous statement. Like B, maybe if you're talking if Spider-Man is A and only Spider-Man is A, then Iron Man is B.
Yeah, if you're talking general audience, yeah, for sure. But like comic book fans, Iron Man was a main character.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if Spider-Man if Iron Man is a B or a C, then Spider-Man is the only A and B.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
Spider-Man is the character. He has a show constantly in rotation, which he doesn't anymore, but he did back then.
Yeah,
I guess he does have a show out right now. I guess he does. But
boycott.
Iron Man, I loved him. That 90s modular armor to this day, my favorite. I love the crappy cartoon with the West Coast Avengers. There was a game that I wanted, just begged my parents for. It was Iron Man and Exo Man War, this Valiant character. It's so obscure game. It was on Sega Saturn. Didn't have a Sega Saturn. Begged my parents for it. I have a couple of those comics in the house. I need them. Yeah, thanks. But yeah, Iron Man was a huge. They did Heroes Reborn. He had this like ridiculous Prometheus armor, which I thought was great.
I love that armor too. Yeah.
It looks so stupid, but I was obsessed with it when it came out.
Play trumpets in the back.
It looks so badass. Now I'm like, it looks kind of stupid, but I still love it.
I had a figure of that.
I love it. So yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack your list, but I love Iron Man. When people say he's a C-list character, it just
pisses me off.
Chaps my iron bones.
For DC, I feel like DC is harder to nail down. Yeah. Because like you said, there is Superman, and Superman is like the iconography for every comic book character ever. And then Batman's like a really easy one. And those are the only ones that sell. So
yeah,
I don't know.
World's finest.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to say Green Lantern. Honestly, I really got into them in the 90s too.
Wonder Woman's the woke answer.
Yeah, the fucking Wonder Woman. Yeah, man, that's all I care about.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, I don't read any Wonder Woman, and I don't. But
the current one's actually pretty good. I think you'd really like it.
I think Wonder Woman's cool, and fucking Dead Earth or whatever that Daniel Warren Johnson. Sign that up for like one of the best comic books I've ever read.
Yeah, exactly. One of my top 10 all time. If you haven't read it, I'm gonna send it to you. One of my top 10 favorite reads of all time. I mean, obsessed with that story. People hate it because he like beat the shit out of Superman, but I'm like, fucking, who cares? Who cares if Superman gets beat?
Well, yeah. Well, Superman would always hold back. Like,
9 times out of 10, Superman beats everybody. So who cares if every now and then?
Yeah. Superman has to get beat from time to time. And
at one point, is he just God?
Yeah, in the comments of one of your other posts, I got into an argument about somebody was comparing something to Superman and Batman, and then the argument just became about Batman and Superman holding back. It was so fucking stupid. But it's like, so you're saying that this is the same as Batman riding a satellite into the atmosphere?
Yeah. So I made a post because I do very much agree with this. I think it's silly. People have a problem with. And we talked about it in the last episode. People have a problem with Falcon fighting Red Hulk.
Oh, right.
Falcon's just a man with wings. He can't fight Red Hulk, right? Even though they're not real characters.
Mm-hmm.
The physics of it just don't exist, right? But they obsess about Batman, a human man with 0 powers. Doesn't even have wings.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have the extra length of the wings. Can fight Superman, who is infinitely more strong than the Red Hulk. They love that, but they can't fathom this black man fighting this red white man.
Yeah, the red white man. Yeah, you can't say red man. No.
Yeah, red white man. And so, in the comments they're just like, no, actually, it's just like the actually stuff is ridiculous. Guess what? It's fake.
Yeah. Somebody, so I like the one comment. It's like, we all know what the difference is.
Yeah. We know why you don't like it.
Yeah, we know.
Just say
it. Just say it, man. I'll say it with you.
Yeah, I'll say it with you. Who cares, man?
Yeah, dumb. But anyway, that was so tough. I would also have to say Superman just because he really he's so long lasting. He was like the first.
Yeah, even if you say he's boring, he's still like you can't. And it's the same similar reasoning to what I said about Goku. Is like if you ask a random person like what a superhero is, they'll be like, "Oh, it's Superman." Do you know who Superman is? Yeah, obviously, someone that's never read comic books.
Yeah,
and never watched cartoons would know who Superman is.
And those people also are the ones that would call him boring because I feel like Superman is interesting, just no one reads the books.
Yeah, he is interesting. It is. It's insane to say that like a character with godlike powers, with a small town mentality,
with a small town mentality,
with a small town mentality and empathy. They don't write characters like that. I don't know why. I don't know what the obsession is with like these just insanely powerful characters being dark and gritty and just stepping on the necks. They're like these people want to be controlled and
they want daddy.
Yeah, that's it. They're like, I want someone to tell me what to do, and it's just like I think it's more interesting to someone that could tell you what to do to like ask you for your opinion. I don't know. I think sensual conversations are more important than someone bossing you around.
I will say there are times where I'm like, please just tell me what to do. but
you're my wife. She's Superman in this situation.
Yeah. So what was the next one? Anime. If I had to pick like an anime, like somebody be like, oh, that's an anime. Like Gundam, like any Gundam.
No, probably not any Gundam. No, yeah, it gets weird.
I'm saying that if you saw a picture of
Gundam Wing,
well,
they only know Gundam Wing.
I wouldn't even say that. Yeah, probably.
They only know Gundam Wing. They don't know any of the characters' names.
No,
they only know Gundam Wing.
What I'm saying is, if you took a picture, of a Gundam robot from any series,
just any giant robot, they would be like, "That's
like, is that from a Gundam?" That's obviously Gundams. It would either be that. Nah, yeah, it's Digimon. That. Well, I was gonna say Spike Spiegel, but that's very like that's on the list of animes you should watch, but not necessarily. Not something that people would just know.
Hipster anime is Yu Yu Hakusho, Samurai Champloo.
Samurai Champloo is really good.
It is really good. Simon is a hipster though, well-known hipster.
No, I can't watch. I don't like Crybaby animes, and so
you think Yu Yu Hakusho's Crybaby anime?
No, I just couldn't. I didn't like the guy. I didn't like your favorite character. Like, what are you doing, Yu? Like, whatever. Cool, yeah, God,
he's great. He's great.
God, couldn't stand that character.
Simon knows me. That is my favorite character.
So annoying.
Great. Kuvar's great. We're not going to get into that, but we'll do another episode about anime. He's great.
But that era of Toonami was really good anyway. Inuyasha is pretty good. But anyway, I didn't like I just don't like Crybaby like take too long to get to the plot anime. Even Dragon Ball Z is like that too. I'm like, God, how long?
Yeah,
with 5 minutes left.
They did that they did that with the
Tournament of Power. I was gonna say Tournament of Power was like the tournament's 45 minutes and it's 45 episodes.
5 minutes of the planet about to explode turns into like 7 episodes.
Dude, that's how they did in the Tournament of Power and Super. They were like 60 seconds left, and it's 13 episodes.
Yeah, no, that's dumb. That's super dumb. That's like that movie I was telling you about, Baby's Day Out. It's like, how is this a whole movie?
Next time, we're down to the last 5 seconds, and it's like 45 episodes.
Yeah, I always imagine that they're talking at super speed.
Yeah. Or there's just like everything happens at once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it kind of like unfolds into this many, but like all this stuff, it's just like if you watched it all together, it would just be like a cartoon cloud, just like fist popping up.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Gundam. But anyway, so examples of Crybaby anime is probably any
I like
animes is any Gundam series that even Gundam Wing, like the giant
Gundam Wing
robot.
is very Crybaby anime.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like all of them, and I understand
emo.
what the major themes are. Like, oh, you're forcing kids into war. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But also, let me just see some mechs blow each other up. You know, that's what I want.
I couldn't tell up until like me being an adult. I couldn't tell you what Gundam Wing was about.
Gundam Wing is so boring. It is so boring. It is like episode 1 and 2 of Star Wars. It's like politics.
Yeah. It's so boring, and I couldn't tell you about. Now I've rewatched it, and I could tell you, and I really enjoy it. But back then, couldn't tell you. I would be like, you know that meme of that kid that was like, "Have you ever?" And that would be me about Gundam Wing.
Yeah, it's like, so there's like this family that wants peace, and then they get assassinated, and then that causes a war. It's basically, well, I guess it's basically like the plot of World War One.
But in space.
Yeah. In space.
Everything's cool in space.
What's another Crybaby one that I've watched recently?
That's not a Crybaby one, but
that is true. You thought you were going to say Big O.
Oh, Big O.
Big O's hipster anime though too.
It is definitely one of my favorites. But
it's hipster anime though.
It has to do with like memory and
Nobody knows. When I was a kid,
nobody knows that. Nobody knows that one.
Fell asleep every episode. Every single episode. When I was a kid,
I watch everyone.
I've watched it as an adult, love it. As a kid,
repeat.
Yeah. No, there were definitely, I'm like, I want to see a big clanky robot punch something else.
You bring a 30-minute episode, 3 minutes of fights.
Somehow it disappears after like each fight.
I feel like you're narcoleptic, Lex. Like,
you know I am.
You fall asleep, you're like, oh man, I fell asleep.
The thing is, it's not ADHD. I don't know what it is. I have brain problems. Let's just call it that. And so my mind is constantly racing like 1,000 times a minute. Constantly like working on different things in my head always. I feel like
anxiety.
Yeah. Whatever Willy Wonka has. Yeah, anxiety in his head. In his head.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I've sidebarred your entire list.
I'm trying to think of it. No, now you got me on like Crybaby animes, and maybe we'll have one of those. Most of them is like what I get annoyed with is when a character has like discovers a power that they have, whether it's piloting a mech or magical powers of some sort, and they hate themselves for it and they cry constantly about it. I'm like,
there was a show that I was obsessed with, and it was Adult Swim. It wasn't even Toonami. Toonami kind of ran late back then.
Yeah,
before it turned into Adult Swim. And it was called Sacried. I don't know if you ever saw it.
Mm-mm.
It was S hyphen capital C capital R capital Y hyphen ED.
Oh, weird. It was like the only thing that came up.
Yeah. And it was the definition of what you're saying. Every character was like that. Every character was like, I'm burdened with this power. And half of them had to use it to be a police force. And the other half were like the resistance. But everyone was kind of like angsty about having powers.
I think I've heard of this.
It's the definition of what you're talking about. I was obsessed
Actually,
with it.
I've seen this. I've seen somebody make a toy of this.
Yeah, back when I used to cut myself, I used to watch it. Play Nickelback in the background.
This is not something you should be like.
This is how you remind me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I never seen this.
Yeah, I was obsessed with it, man. Couldn't get enough. And that was back then when the internet didn't exist. I couldn't just buy it on whatever. Ask Jeeves or whatever was popular.
What's funny is like Guyver is like really popular, and I bought this cool figure for it, and then I tried to watch
Guyver's lame.
Yeah, I tried to watch a more modern anime, and it was terrible. It was so bad. And
you ever watched the live action one?
I just watched it the other day. Just watched it.
Terrible, man.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
The scene in there where freaking Luke Skywalker turns into a cockroach is insane.
What? Everyone says, man, Mark Hamill did more in Star Wars. He did Guyver. And I'm like, I wouldn't tell anybody.
Wait. What was this?
Guyver. You never watched that?
No.
Oh my god. It looks cool.
It's,
and
on,
theory,
it's free. Cool. It's free. I think it's on Amazon. You should watch it.
Yeah.
Check Guyver, right?
Guyver. It looks cool. It's in theory. In theory, it's really cool.
G-U-I-V-E-R. Sorry. Yes.
In theory, it's cool, but everything I've ever seen about it is lame.
Yeah. It's kind of cool, but it's like Kamen Rider, but not good. Anyway, so what was the final one?
Western cartoons.
Western cartoons.
You don't have to go like classics. Obviously, like you have the Michael Jordans, you have Looney Tunes, you have
Michael Jordans. Yeah, that's my favorite cartoon character.
Scooby-Doo. Michael Jordan had a cartoon. It was called.
He did.
Yeah.
It was called Hitler Mustache.
No, it was Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, and Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, and someone else. They had Bo Jackson. It was Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson, and Wayne Gretzky. They had the show. Sorry, Sam. I'm gonna look this up.
All right. Well, to answer the question, if I had to think of one that I really, really enjoyed that I feel like is popular enough and Pro Stars. I think I've heard of that. And kind of has a connection to like classical or classic cartoons. I'd say Looney Tunes would probably be mine because it was kind of a bridge between the Animaniacs. Or did I say Looney Tunes? I mean Tiny Toons. There was Looney Tunes, Animaniacs, Tiny Toons right in the middle. You're like, oh, this is like Bugs Bunny, but for me.
Yeah, Tiny Toons was our era. Like when I was young, I didn't really give a shit about like Looney Tunes. Like, yeah, it was fine, but it was also like old people cartoons.
Yeah,
as a kid. But Tiny Toons was like exactly what you're saying. Like, oh, I get it now.
And they did really make like really strange on top or of the era jokes that were closer to for adults. Like that, I remember the MTV thing, and they were all dressed up like like musical characters, and that girl Doug dressed up like Sinead O'Connor, and like she just ripped a picture, but it wasn't
another like Madonna with the pointy. With the
yeah.
Tiny Toons was great. They brought it back, but then they made like Babs and Buster's sister and brother or something weird like that.
And then they still had sex. Freaking
still were into each other, so it was really weird.
I don't know if they ever were into each other.
I mean, I thought they were.
It's on HBO, so it's very Game of Thrones, you
know. I really should have said Ninja Turtles as far as cartoons, but I am just like I'm a 1987 hater. And I know people think it's blasphemous. I am. That show is overrated. That show was 300 episodes. The only good ones were the first 5.
Yeah,
the first 5. The first 5, the art style, the everything was great. But it was also by a different company.
I was going to say
Toei made them.
I'm about to say there was a different company that did the first few episodes.
Yeah, Toei made the first 5, which is quote unquote the first season. They were great, and then the studios were like, "Wait a second, these kids are eating us up. Let's just do it ourselves." And then you had all those weird animation mistakes throughout the years, and it's just like it's very silly. And I think I love, I do appreciate it, right? But I think my disdain for it is mainly the fandom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, how they hate Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because it's so silly and off the wall and goofy. But that show is so silly. The 87 show. It's like it's basically the same show. But with better storytelling and better animation, and it's more cohesive.
Let's just put it in a category of honorable mention.
Yeah. First 5 episodes.
Well, I would say as far as like Western cartoons, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles makes sense. All of them, because there's been one for every generation.
And that's where they keep cashing those checks. They just put another one out. My son loves Rise. I love Rise. But I will say I did not give it a chance until after I watched the movie.
Yeah, the movie is insane, man.
The movie was insane. It might be my favorite Ninja Turtle movie.
Yeah, it's got that real.
It's got a movie though. You know what?
It's on Netflix. Watch. You know what? You don't have to have kids to watch cartoons, man.
My nephew's actually coming down. I think we're gonna
watch it. You can just watch it by yourself.
Yeah.
Old Nafu's coming down.
Oh, Nafu coming through.
We did it, guys. We did another episode. Episode 2.
We made it 2. And it was 2 hours long. We're going to increase by an hour every episode.